recording.
With each pruner that you buy, each Pro pruner you buy from us, you'll get 4 pages, technique, bolt adjustment, sharpening and spare parts. And we're going to do the bolt adjustment. So if you open up to centre bolt adjustment, number 1, adjusting the tightness of this bolt here. So to make the adjustment, we're going to be turning the bolt clockwise, and what we're going to be doing is aligning the square of the part of the nut on one next tab. So that one's lined up at present. If we turn it marginally to clockwise, it'll be that tab there. Now to do this, we need tools like this, a screwdriver. You perhaps don't need that, I use that, but a screwdriver, 11/16 spanner, 2 of them. I'm using a crescent just for simplicity, and a hammer. So we need to knock this down a little, just enough to allow the nut to go past, and I'll just show you to put the spanner underneath, stop the bolt turning, and I'll just show you how that we can make the nut just turn past. See, it's just gone past there now. So that's where it was. If I want to tighten it a little bit more, I'll bring this one here up to alignment. So that square's now level with that. Now what we do is we place the screwdriver underneath there, and we tap it underneath there, and you can see now that that's risen up. You can continue with the screwdriver and hitting it, but I use this little tool. Don't need to, you can use a screwdriver. And now that's that tapped up. Now that one was, now it's that one here. So that's how you adjust the centre bolt. And now that's what I would be saying is perhaps a little bit stiff. The handles should come down, because it's got to come all the way round. It should come down with a bit of movement. So it's still about right. Once this is worn in from being new, that will be how you adjust it. So it's quite simple to make the centre bolt adjustment. The centre bolt, just so you know, I'll take them out shortly, are made up of these 4 products. The bolt, the nut, the star washer, which is the one we adjusted, and the little sub washer which fits under here. That's all shown to you in your parts list and how that's assembled. So what we'll do now is we will take the centre bolt out and show you how to adjust the handle bolts. And the reason I take the centre bolt out is it makes it a lot easier to find out which one of these needs adjustment. So very simple again, just tap the washer down, the spanner on the back there so that the bolt doesn't turn. The nut off, tap the bolt down, there's the little star washer. The sub washer locks onto the bolt, and it takes just the turning movement of this away from the star washer. It's very important. If you're breaking the star washer centerpiece for some reason, you will have lost this piece here. So just when you take it apart, make sure you don't lose it. Okay, so that's now made these pieces separate. So now I can move each piece separately, and I can feel if they're loose. Now, in normal working, it's just the centre bolt that you're going to be adjusting. The handle bolts will hardly need any adjustment at all. But occasionally, for keeping your lopper clean, it's a good idea to take the centre bolt out, so that you can get all the gum and stuff off everything all the way round, rather than when it's done up together. So occasionally when you're sharpening, it's a good idea to take the centre bolt out and get it totally clean, and you might find a lot of fibre gets jammed around these edges of the hole, fibre from the tree. If you haven't been oiling enough, gives you a good chance to get all the marks and scratches out and give it a good clean up. So if you're going to adjust the handle bolt now, you need a 12mm and a 13mm spanner. I suggest you use this type of spanner rather than a big crescent. Now the handle is threaded, so what we're going to be doing is making the adjustment. There's the bolt and the washer. There's the bolt head there and the washer just underneath it. Well, that's coming up and it's threading through the handle. If you take a standard handle, you see you can't put the bolt through, you have to thread it in. So the handles are threaded. That's part of the locking system. So what we've got to do is, using the 13mm, we need to lock onto the bolt and then just undo the nut a fraction of a turn, probably about a quarter turn, because the thread of the nut and the bolt are locking the bolt to the handle. So now I can undo and adjust the bolt. So if I do it that way, it becomes a lot looser. If I come back this way, it tightens it back up again. So clockwise, it becomes loose, and you can see it's being able to move up and down a bit, what we call slop. You bring it up till it's just firm. In other words, basically I can't turn it. Then holding that, we bring the nut back tight again. Now just as it gets to that tight point, this is still jammed, stopping that from turning, move both spanners clockwise. And then that will slowly, as it gets really tight there, it'll come back free. Doesn't have to be sloppy loose, it just comes back nice and free. Same with that one there. So again, just to go over that again, holding the bolt from turning, undo that nut like I showed you, make the adjustment with the bolt until that's firm or locked, lock the two together and then clockwise turning it. So I'll just go through that procedure for you again. Undo the nut, just undo the bolt a little bit more now. Back loose, tighten the bolt up till that's firm, tighten the nut up. If you tighten the nut up too tight and you make the adjustment around, you won't be able to get that to come loose. So just firm and then turn both of them, and that makes the bolt and the nut and the handle all locked together. And there it is, fixed. Now it's a case of just putting the bolt back up through the two of them. Sub washer. Star washer. Nut. And then just bring this up. You don't want to bring this up too tight, just tight. So I'm going to lock onto that one again. And then I'm going to have to stop it from sliding on you, that's all. it is.
Do that again.
Fits around nicely like that. So when you finish pruning, you should be able to just swing it around just nicely to go in your pouch, and that's pretty good. Just swing it around like that and it goes in your pouch. If it won't do that and you're pruning, then every time you go to put it in your pouch you've got to make a double action. But it's quite good if you finish your pruning, you can just literally flick it around into your... So that's brand new, so that's how I'd like to put them out each time. So that's how simple it is. Read the instructions through. You've got your...
Hang on, I've got to back this off.
It's your centre bolt adjustment. Four steps, how I showed you. Handle bolt adjustment was 5 steps, and then fitting new bolts. And the only difference between handle bolt adjustment and fitting is that I start off by saying removing the centre bolt. But when you're making those adjustments, it's hard for you to find exactly which one is perhaps loose. If you take the centre bolt out, you find it straight away. So quite simple, but very effective in the way it locks.